Oh my goodness! He just did that!
The San Antonio Spurs are a legit title contender. So you got shooters, you got athletes. You've got a collection of individuals who have bought in defensively because they're anchored by the premier defensive player in the game.
Last season felt like a collapse in real time. The San Antonio Spurs lost their legendary head coach Greg Popovich to a frightening stroke. Their franchise cornerstone, Victor Wembanyama, was sidelined by a serious blood clot scare. The result? A brutal fall to 13th in the Western Conference, and a season that looked completely lost. Fast forward 1 year, and the league looks different. San Antonio is sitting second in the West. They've beaten the defending powerhouse Oklahoma City Thunder 4 out of 5 times. They just took down the East's top contender, the Detroit Pistons. And here's the part that should terrify the rest of the NBA. Their 3 best players are just 22, 21, and 19 years old. This isn't luck. It's calculated. A medical crisis that could have shattered the locker room. A bold trade almost nobody predicted. A coaching transition that could have derailed everything. Instead, every piece clicked. Yes, Wembanyama is generational. But this story is bigger than one superstar. It's about how San Antonio rebuilt, again, and quietly created the NBA's most dangerous young core.
Another steal. Stephon Castle, gear up for showtime! Castle climbs the ladder! Harper with space, still in Harper! The harm in the hoop! This time, Wembanyama, what a play! Off the glass!
Last season, the Spurs were reeling. Their legendary head coach, Greg Popovich, was sidelined by a stroke. Victor Wembanyama, the franchise cornerstone, faced a serious blood clot. The team ended 13th in the Western Conference, a far cry from the glory years. But in a single year, everything changed. San Antonio surged to second in the West, defeating the Thunder 4 out of 5 times and toppling the East's best, the Detroit Pistons. And the most shocking part? Their top 3 players are 22, 21, and 19 years old. This isn't a fluke. It's a calculated rebuild, years in the making, forged from medical crises, bold trades, and a seamless coaching transition. Every piece fell into place. Wembanyama is generational, yes, but this story isn't about one player. It's about how San Antonio built something that lasts, and how their blueprint might be the league's most formidable yet. Before Wembanyama ever wore a Spurs jersey, San Antonio was quietly planting seeds. The franchise had just turned a page on one of the NBA's greatest dynasties. Tim Duncan retired in 2016, followed by Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Kawhi Leonard by 2018. Free agency, retirements, and a Kawhi-era standoff that shipped Danny Green elsewhere stripped the team of its core. The 2014 championship roster was gone. Those moves brought back DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and a 2019 first-round pick that became Keldon Johnson. With the foundational trio gone and the presumed franchise successor traded, the Spurs entered a liminal space of mediocrity. They weren't rebuilding fully, but they weren't contenders either. The 2018-19 season yielded 48 wins, pushing the Nuggets to 7 games in the first round. But then the record spiraled 32-39, 33-39, and 34-48 over the next 3 years. San Antonio's legendary playoff streak ended, and the franchise faced a futility it hadn't seen in decades. Behind the scenes, the pivot wasn't immediate. It followed difficult conversations about identity, direction, and philosophy. Could the Spurs' traditional style still succeed in the modern NBA? For a stretch, they operated as a middle-tier team, competitive but stuck in the draft lottery's bottom half, 11th, 14th, 18th picks. Hitting home runs was essential just to stay relevant. No cap space, limited assets, no clear path beyond a 6th or 7th seed. The Spurs recognized the trap and refused to fight for mediocrity forever. The first visible sign of the pivot came in 2020, just before the Orlando bubble restart. San Antonio wasn't trying to extend a 23rd straight playoff appearance. Starters LaMarcus Aldridge, Trey Lyles, and Bryn Forbes weren't brought back. Instead, Popovich leaned into youth. DeJounte Murray, Derek White, Lonnie Walker, and Keldon Johnson formed the core, with DeRozan at power forward beside Poeltl. The approach was faster, more switchable, more modern. In the first 7 seeding games, the team went 5-2. Popovich signaled that Orlando's strategy wasn't temporary. The Spurs were committing to versatility, multiple ball handlers, interchangeable defenders, spacing, and playmaking. The lineup philosophy centered on optionality, centers as offensive hubs, shared decision-making, and multiple dribble, pass, and shoot options. The draft aligned with this vision. Keldon Johnson went 29th in 2019, Devin Vassell 11th in 2020, Tre Jones 41st in 2020, Josh Primo 12th in 2021, Jeremy Sochan 9th in 2022, Malachi Branham 20th in 2022. Each selection was a two-way bet, long, versatile, and capable defensively. But the Spurs had their eyes on 2023 as a window to accelerate the rebuild. To seize it, they needed flexibility. Assets require tough decisions. The DeRozan sign-and trade in 2021 committed them fully. DeRozan went to Chicago for Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, a 2025 first-round pick, and 2 future second-rounders. Young was later flipped to Toronto for a 2022 first-round pick that became Brenham. Derek White was sent to Boston for Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, a top 4 protected 2022 first-rounder, Blake Wesley, and a 2028 pick swap. Then came a move that shocked the league: DeJounte Murray and center Jock Landale to Atlanta for first-round picks in 2023, 2025, 2027, plus a 2026 swap. Many read it as surrender, but it was leverage insurance. Nearly 5 years after arriving via the Kawhi trade, Jakob Poeltl was sent to Toronto for more draft capital. This wasn't reckless teardown, it was strategic peeling. The Spurs ensured that if the 2023 pick didn't yield a star, they had Plan B, cap flexibility for free agents and draft ammunition for trades. 2023 delivered the ideal scenario: Victor Wembanyama, a perfect fit for the window they prepared for 4 years. To maximize lottery odds, they had to endure losing seasons, but control never wavered. This wasn't blind accumulation of anonymous assets. Culture was preserved, long-term contracts avoided, and veterans supplemented the roster. Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes joined last season, bringing discipline, professionalism, and mentorship for rookies like Stephon Castle. In 46 games together, Paul assisted on 121 of Wembanyama's field goals, 15th most in the league. Castle, a top 4 pick, flourished in his rookie campaign, becoming a primary option when Wembanyama was out. The asset pile paid dividends. The Bulls' first-rounder from the DeRozan trade allowed the Spurs to pursue the De'Aaron Fox deal, securing the young star. The Spurs retained Wembanyama, Sochan, Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Castle, letting go of Tre Jones, Zach Collins, and Sidi Sissoko, rotation depth players with limited upside. 4 first-round picks were exchanged, but protections preserved future value: 2025 Charlotte, 2025 Chicago, 2027 Spurs, 2031 Minnesota. Atlanta picks for 2025, 2027, and the 2026 swap remained. By 2027, if the core develops, the Spurs pick should land late in the lottery. Minnesota in 2031 was a long-term gamble. Brian Wright and R.C. Buford didn't panic buy. They read the market, understood Fox's interest in San Antonio, and leveraged Wembanyama's presence to acquire a star whose value had dipped. This season is validation. Another lottery opportunity arose. Dylan Harper fell to them at number 2 in 2025 despite odds of 8th or 9th. Drafting back-to-back potential Rookies of the Year positioned the Spurs to exit the bottom of the Western Conference gracefully. Harper's upside is tangible. On a weak college team, facing constant defensive focus, he finished as one of the most efficient rim attackers in his class. He isn't a highlight athlete, but strength, body control, and patience allow him to create consistent scoring. Harper reads the defense, counters rotations, and finds open teammates. The Spurs recognized his poise, craft, and scoring instincts. The 2022 Murray trade, once seen as a white flag, brought unprotected first-rounders and swaps that continue paying dividends. With the season ending today, the Spurs' selection sits at number 27 overall, but thanks to Atlanta's pick swap, they may acquire a late lottery asset, compounding their advantage. This rebuild was layered optionality, multiple paths, outs, and accelerators. San Antonio engineered leverage, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Now they're second in the West, trailing only the defending champion Thunder, whom they've beaten 4 of 5 times. That includes a classic NBA Cup semifinal and a statement Christmas Day win. Top 6 offense, top 3 defense, top 3 net rating, all despite missing key pieces. Fox 8 games, Wembanyama 14, Castle 10, Vassell 13, Harper 11. Understanding this leap requires context. Popovich, in 29 seasons, amassed 1,422 wins and 5 championships. On November 2, 2024, he was sidelined by a stroke. Assistant Mitch Johnson took over, steering the franchise through total uncertainty. The Spurs pushed back toward .500, then suffered another blow. Wembanyama diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis and ruled out for the rest of the season. Fox had only 5 games alongside Wembanyama before the diagnosis. 1 season, 2 franchise-altering health crises. Fox opted for pinky surgery mid-season. It felt cursed, yet Wembanyama returned stronger. Game 1 of the new season, 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, dominating from the elbows, post, and top of the key. Mitch Johnson, Popovich's successor, faced impossible standards. Yet his players would run through walls for him, earning him Western Conference All-Star coaching honors. The roster boasts depth, speed, and versatility. The Fox Castle Harper trio creates havoc downhill, collapsing defenses, living in the paint, and forcing rotational chaos. Perimeter shooters like Vassell, Barnes, and Julian Champey keep spacing tight. Defense is where this team excels. Shaw Sweeney, added as lead assistant and defensive coordinator, transformed the approach, aggressive at the point of attack, faster rotations, better communication, and versatile matchups. Castle, Vassell, Champey, and Carter Bryant offer length, switchability, and adaptability. Elite rim protection allows perimeter defenders to gamble confidently. Vassell's defensive resurgence, Keldon Johnson's impact, and disciplined effort reflect this structure. Not every draft swing succeeded. Josh Primo, the 12th pick in 2021, was waived for conduct issues. Jeremy Sochan, 9th pick in 2022, was waived mid-season. Talent accumulation isn't enough. Tough decisions follow. The Spurs evolved beyond certain players without drama. They're now firmly in the second phase, second in the West, top 3 net rating. Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year favorite, averages 24 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 3 blocks per game. He warps the floor on both ends. Stephon Castle, 21, is building an all-defensive resume. He posted a 40-point triple-double, becoming the youngest player in NBA history with that stat line at 75% shooting. Only Wilt Chamberlain achieved it before. The Wembanyama-Castle duo became the youngest in NBA history to record triple-doubles in the same game, surpassing Jordan and Pippen. 2 years ago, the Spurs were dead last in the West. Now they're title contenders, a 22-year-old generational anchor, a 21-year-old with absurd stats, a 19-year-old rookie closing games, a franchise point guard locked long-term, a vault of future draft capital, and a coaching staff that turned chaos into culture. They are 20-11 against teams above .500. This is no longer rebuilding, this is arrival. The Spurs exemplify patience, precision, and long-term planning. No shortcuts, no panic moves, just meticulous engineering. After Popovich's stroke, Wembanyama's blood clot, and a 34-win season, they emerged with the league's most dangerous young core. Right now, in a 7-game series versus OKC or Detroit, the question is clear: is San Antonio ahead of schedule, or is this just hype? The proof is in the court. The Spurs' rise is a lesson in foresight, adaptability, and strategic leverage. They balanced long-term upside with present competitiveness, integrated rookies into structured roles, and preserved culture while capitalizing on opportunities. Every pick, trade, and veteran addition aligned with a philosophy, versatility, optionality, and long-term dominance. The results are visible: second in the West, top 3 defense, top 3 net rating, and a young core poised to redefine the franchise's trajectory. From the ashes of a dynasty's end, the Spurs have engineered a new era. They've converted setbacks into strategic advantage, cultivated talent intentionally, and created an environment where youth thrives alongside guidance. Health scares, coaching changes, and roster volatility were obstacles they turned into stepping stones. Wembanyama dominates, Castle matures rapidly, Harper delivers efficiency, Fox provides leadership, and supporting pieces like Vassell, Johnson, and Barnes complement seamlessly. The Spurs system amplifies strengths, mitigates weaknesses, and maximizes floor spacing, switching, and pace. San Antonio's draft strategy, asset accumulation, and trades have compounded into exponential value. Protected and unprotected picks give them multiple avenues to acquire elite talent without sacrificing continuity. Coaching has evolved to maximize young players' abilities while maintaining accountability. Defensive structure, offensive versatility, and culture preservation converge into a powerhouse-ready blueprint. In short, the Spurs are no longer rebuilding, they are a legitimate contender. Every detail, from trades to drafts, health management to coaching strategy, demonstrates precise execution. Wembanyama and Castle anchor the present, Harper and supporting cast ensure the future, and Johnson's coaching transforms potential into results. The Spurs' evolution is a masterclass in strategic patience, meticulous planning, and operational excellence. After setbacks that would crush most franchises, Popovich's stroke, Wembanyama's blood clot, consecutive losing seasons, San Antonio didn't just recover. They engineered the league's most formidable young core. The Spurs have arrived, blending talent, strategy, culture, and foresight into a team capable of challenging for a championship now and for years to come. This is the blueprint. This is the Spurs way.